Hey guys, welcome to another ATG talk with me, Coach Kyle. Today we have arguably the most handsome man in ATG. Some say Chris Hemsworth is his body double. They say his beard has the strength of 10 men. We know him as Magic Mike, but you guys know him as Coach Mike. So today we're going to chat about a few things and just get his perspective on a few things. So I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. First off, Mikey, how you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm consciously trying to keep my legs still. I did that Instagram video on a box the other day, and all I did was kick my legs backwards and forwards because I'm so short. So I'm like consciously sitting here now, like don't move your legs.
All right, so we'll get straight into it. So for those of you guys that don't know, Mike is also one of the owners of ATG. He came on board with us quite a while ago when we took over Norwood, and obviously this has kind of been his baby and his brainchild, and he's kind of done majority of the work here at Norwood. So Mike, as one of the owners, quickly run us through what you do for ATG as a business.
Yeah, so like Kyle said, now my main responsibility is head of Norwood itself. So with the help of Landre, I take the majority of the classes here, the upkeep, the maintenance, the members, things like that, just the day-to-day running of the gym. And then besides helping Norwood run and running the facility itself, then I got a degree in marketing. So that was naturally kind of the way I went with the business. So I head up our marketing strategies. So a lot of our Google ads and things like that, and what you'll see comes through me. Then I took over the social media a couple of years ago. So Nick used to run the social media, and then obviously with my degree, it kind of naturally leaned towards me taking over that and being more purposeful in terms of Nick's very good with his write-ups and the content, but it was just more taking over the marketing side of that from him. So exactly, yeah. So
I think it's also, something we've tried to do from the start as ATG is try to, find within the business people that are good at different things and kind of letting them do it instead of outsourcing too much of things like that. So that can we can go straight into the next question, as in, what are you kind of working on the social media side and the marketing side at the moment? Anything specific in the way that you manage it?
Yeah, I mean, the Google ads is a bit of a month-to-month thing. It's always, marketing's a very, I want to say, fluffy aspect of a business. And all the marketers in the gym are going to look at me and go, why are you saying that, Mike? But it's one of those plug and play things where you've just got to play with different ideas, different strategies, things like that. So Google Ads is consistently evolving, the platforms that we use there. And then in terms of the social media side, I get a lot of help from Gabe, who's one of our Norwood members, for the guys that don't know. So he does a lot of the content creation for me. So the photos you guys see, he goes and takes all those photos, which I'm pretty sure most people have seen him take photos of them. But then in terms of like videos and things like that, I'll kind of have a look at what's trending, what I think would possibly work, and then I'll shoot that through to Gabe. And then from there, he'll go shoot that content and give it to me. So, and that's always evolving as well from the aspect. So like last year, a lot of these short, these videos where you have a short clip and you kind of pan into a different clip and it's trending to a certain video, worked very well last year. It seems like that's out now. People want more information through social media again. So yeah, so it just depends. And it's also just finding what people want at the end of the day, because you got to try and hit your market there. People have got an attention span of a goldfish on social media. So it's, how can you grab their attention as quickly as possible and keep them on your page?
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Is we all know that as social media, we tend to scroll through social media, and if something's longer than a minute, you're like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, and then also just trying to please members such as Riku.
Riku, you made it. You got onto the Instagram. once you got onto it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, just trying to keep members happy as well and getting them on the Instagram page.
The nice thing is, though, you don't have that much involvement with the Bryanston members, so you can't have that from their side now.
Not yet. So not just yet. They will meet me, and but it's exactly.
And then maybe, Mike, you take us through what a typical day in the life of Michael Fawcett looks like.
Jeez, I don't know if I want to say this if Chalks is going to be listening in on this. No, I'm kidding. So Landra and I have got quite a cool schedule in terms of if I coach a morning, he coaches an evening. So we alternate schedules like that, which works quite well for us. So most of the week, I coach most of the morning classes. So after my morning class, I tend to have a client or two. So I'll take my private clients after that. Then I'll get a training session in. So just depending on that, probably an hour, hour and a half of training. That's including warming up, a little bit of stretching towards the end. From there, I'll head home for a little bit just to get a bit of a break from the gym. It's quite a long day already. By that time, I've already been in the gym for 7-8 hours of the day. Yeah. So it's almost a full work day for most people being at work. So I'll go home, get some lunch, and then get on with admin. So again, just getting onto the social media page, putting the posts up that need to be put up, or planning the content that needs to be planned for the month, for example. Programming for clients, tend to do that early in the week, obviously, so that I've got it all going forward for the rest of the week. And so that'll take a good 2 hours if I'm lucky, sometimes a little bit longer. And then I'll come back here and I'll hit my second. So I do 2 sessions a day at the moment. So I'll get in another training session. Again, depending on what, so Kyle is actually my coach for those people that want to know in terms of who's programming that stuff for me. So just depending on what Kyle's planned for me, that's another hour to a half where training, recovery, things like that. And then from there, I'll head home for the day if I'm not coaching in the afternoon. And then it will just reverse around depending. So if I'm not coaching in the morning, do a little bit of admin in the morning, get my training done, come back home, eat a little bit more admin, then I'll come train and then coach later in the evening again. So that's what a typical day looks like. And then some other things come up where we've got meetings, a weekly meeting or something like that, or something that's unplanned that you just kind of just got to schedule through your day.
Yeah, I get that question. I just like to ask that question because I get it a lot. What else do you do other than this?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I mean, I would love to do more stuff, but we are here majority of the time.
Yeah, I think it's more people have this perception that you can't make a living off of it. And I don't think it's an insult either. So I think when members do ask that question, I think they just assume you've got to do something else in order to make a living. And I think for the majority of people you do. I think unfortunately CrossFit's not this mecca like it is in Europe or your developed countries, let's say.
I think that goes back to the fact of, and I mean, you hear it from a lot of the people that travel and come to our gyms and things, is that South Africa generally is a community-based country. You know, we tend to get together with our friends for bras on the weekends. You know, you get together with your mates quite often, whereas I think overseas it's not necessarily that much of a thing. If you get together, you'll go out for dinner somewhere or you'll go to a pub or something. So you don't necessarily have that community aspect. Which I think we already have in South Africa. So, you know, the CrossFit, one of the big selling points over there is the fact that you are becoming a community with the people around you. Then, different type of coach to Nick and I, definitely. So let's maybe go through some of the likes and dislikes that you have as a coach. Let's start with the dislikes. Right? Now, I know there's a bunch of things that come up, but let's just talk about a general class. If you were to coach a class, what are the things that would come up that you dislike a lot?
I am a very punctual person. That is who I am. So Casey always teases me. I'll use an example. We were invited to Kelly's 40th last year, and on the invitation it says arrive at 7. So 1 minute to 7 I was there. And I walked through the door and Kelly asked me, why are you here? was like, what do you mean? You said 7 o'clock on the invitation. She's like, no, everyone's only going to come at 9. I'm like, then why didn't you tell me to come at 9? But yeah, so that is my personality. So it does frustrate me when someone walks in late for a class. So if a class starts at 5 and someone walks in at 5 past, it is an irritation. I've started to, and probably only over the last couple months, kind of looked at it from a member's perspective in terms of going, there might have been something that had happened leading up to that as to why they're late. People have got children, they've got work, they've got other things, whereas my life revolves around this. So like for me, it's very easy to get here because this is my life, whereas someone else's, for a member, this is their escape for an hour of the day, that there could be a lot more going on in their life. So I've kind of tried to look at it from that perspective. So it is one of my irritations, but it's something that I've, also had to be introspective about and go, okay, but maybe there's a reason this person's late, and I've kind of got to, take another look at it. And if they're consistently late, then have a chat to them privately and kind of see what's going on and how we can get them to class on time, because it does disrupt the class, unfortunately, as well. As much as people don't realize it does become disruptive, because you've got to re-explain something that and that's not a problem, that's our job, but I mean, it's not efficient either to now have to re-explain a warm-up that you've gone through already. And also, people have started warming up now, and certain people will continue with the full warm-up, so then other people are standing around for 2 or 3 minutes and they're cold again. So it's that perspective of,
And I think we've also discussed this quite a bit as a group, and this is what we've tried to do with the programming, is we've tried to make sure that we use all the available possible time. So to go back to something, generally there's not enough time. It generally makes the class run over, or disrupts the flow of when the workout's going to start and things like that. So that's also another reason why people being late is a little bit difficult.
100%. And having said that, guys, anyone watching it, like, not to say we won't go back to things. So if you don't understand something, please don't think it's like we're not going to re-explain it, but that's on us to be better at explaining things as well. So,
but that's not your only dislike, Michael. Being a close personal friend of yours, I know that there's something you haven't brought up about the way a gym looks or cleanliness. Let's elaborate on that.
So I'm extremely OCD. So I like things in their place and where they should be. So again, just small things of people just putting equipment back in places that it wasn't before. It can literally marginally be off center of where it was, my Norwood members are actually pretty good at that. But purely because I think they've gotten used to me knowing exactly what I want and where I want things to be. But so things need to be in their place once they're done with that.
Just a funny story on that. When you went away on honeymoon and I coached a few classes here, there were some grumblings of members saying that they were going to try and rearrange the whole gym before you got back, just to upset you. I wish they did. That would have been very funny. And some things, you obviously have a whole bunch of things that you like about coaching, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, but some highlights for you, things that you like?
Is this a hard one? Hard one in the sense to pick something. I really enjoy the community aspect. I know it sounds cliche, and it's such I think you always hear people talk about it, and it's the first thing they go to, and it's like, what do you enjoy about CrossFit? And they say the community, but it really is. It's that I'm not a morning person at all. Like, if I didn't have to be up at 5:15, you would never smell me at that time of the morning. But it's that community aspect of coming, and that those people having fun in a sense, but like talking and vibing, and like that's what brings me to being here with those people, is that very strong community aspect. And then just seeing people succeed in what they've set out to do. So Marinette the other day, for example, got her handstand walks, and you could just see it had clicked in the workout, but you could see it on her face, she'd okay, this is what Mike was talking about, when it would just eventually click, and it's clicked. So to see that satisfaction Gareth Devine got bar muscle ups a couple months ago as well, and like just to see that excitement on his face, like that, oh wow, I've just achieved this, you know. So for me, that's the massive like wins, is to and to give people the right cues and see that it works. Baylor, for example, this morning in the toaster bar class, just, you know, she can do a toaster bar, but her timing is slightly out. So, you know, telling her to wait a little bit longer and kick later. And it just happened. Like then she's getting it and she goes, wow, that was just an amazing cue. And it's like, okay, cool. Like I found the cue that worked for her. Like, and that was cool. That's, yeah, for me, that's an awesome feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's for me as well. That getting someone to be able to do something they thought they could never do. Um, so a weird one as well was not a weird one, but one I thought I would never see the day of was Adrian. Adrian getting a bar muscle. When he got a bar muscle, it was amazing. Like I celebrated, like I think you've got that video somewhere. Yeah. Like I was screaming in the background and stuff. It's just so cool to see. Like it's so awesome to experience that.
And I think members don't realize how invested we are. Like I think people, because there's so many members in a class, I think they sometimes feel that they can be lost in the class, but we are invested in all of them. I think that's the reality. There might be a class here and there that we don't give you the attention you necessarily wanted in that class for whatever reason, but we've got massive investment. We know every single member's name in our facilities. Like there's not many gyms worldwide where people could say, I know every single name. And I can say that for Ramberg. I don't even coach at Ramberg, but I can tell you I know all the Ramberg members' names. Not necessarily for Bryanston, but I'm pretty sure I'll get to a stage where I know all the Bryanston members' names and things like that. So
No, definitely, yeah. I think it is something, and it's also one of the difficulty, and also coming from a karate background, it's one of the difficult things is you teach someone from when they're very small to when they get to an 18 or whatever, and then they disappear, and it's quite an emotional thing. Like where are you going? Why are you leaving? And everyone's got their reasons, but
Mama Bird doesn't know what to do now.
exactly. So you get so invested and you don't know what to say. But yeah, I mean that seeing people get their goals and stuff is awesome. Then, what do you think makes Norwood unique and different? So, for the guys that don't know, Mike was a member for a while at Randburg, and he was quite invested in the community there before he started coaching here, and before he started being part of the community here. So, I've definitely picked up that it's quite a unique, different community to what Randburg is. So maybe you can give us a little bit of insight on that and what you think that is.
Yeah, I think it's hard to put an exact pin on it. I think our membership is very Jewish. When we started, it was majority Jewish, and I think it pretty much still is very Jewish. And I think the Jewish community itself is very community orientated. So they're very supportive of each other. They know each other in that community. And even though since we've been involved, that's grown into more Afrikaans people joining the gym. Unfortunately, Landry has attracted them. And no, I'm joking, guys. We do enjoy a few, just a little bit. No, I'm joking. So a lot of Afrikaans people have come through. We've got a lot of Muslim membership that's come through as well. But I just think that like community aspect has like fed through has just kept that gel going because of that. So I think just if I had to say it, I would thank the Jewish community for that, because that's who they are naturally. I think they are, because they are, I don't want to call them a minority and I don't want to offend anyone, and Norwood itself is a very Jewish community. So I think it naturally would attract that. So yeah, just their style of who they are as a religion, I think has bled through into the rest of the community and has almost given that same feeling throughout. I do think so. We've got Trevor, just to make a mention, Trevor and Gus, who were the previous owners, are Trev's kind of stuck with us once we transitioned. We took over. Trev kind of stuck through the gym. Gus left for a while. Unfortunately, his wife is quite sick. Louise was, but they've subsequently rejoined the gym. And you can also see through who they are as individuals. They are also very community orientated. So I think credit where it's due to them as well. They also did breed that community when they were involved in the gym. So I think that's also helped us pull that through.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one of the interesting things that I picked up at Norwood, because I mean, it's not really something that happens at other gyms that I've been to and experienced, even at Randburg, was that it's not uncommon for a 8 a.m. class to go, just the 8 a.m. class, and go get together and go have a coffee together after the class. It's quite a common occurrence. And it happens class on class on class. It's not like everyone gets together, waits for the 8 o'clock class to be done, and everyone goes and meets somewhere. You know what I mean? So
we've got these awesome. So yeah, just to elaborate, we've got these awesome like micro communities within it. So like the 5 a.m. class, I used to go with them because I used to have a break between the 5 and the 8 a.m. class some mornings, and they always religiously would go, 5 or 6 of them would go have a coffee. And then the 8 a.m. class is also pretty good at that, like you say, where I know like the Cares boys, Craig, Vince and them, if they are on holiday and they have training in the 8, they'll pull a bunch of people and go to Loof afterwards. The 5 p.m. class has also got their little micro community. They like to go for dinner together and things like that. So it's pretty awesome to see that a lot of these guys form these relationships in the gym and carry it out outside of the gym, which is important. It is important to do that.
I suppose you've spoken about it now. Is there anything you would say about your coaching style that's different to, or something about your coaching style that's different to what you've picked up at Randburg or anything like that? Or?
I'm not sure if it's any different. Like, I think credit where credit's due. A lot of my coaching style is taken from what I've learned from you, what I've learned from Nick in those earlier days when I was just a member at the gym. A lot of what I do. So, for example, we don't pack away until the class is finished, and these small aspects that create that community vibe and supporting each other, like those are things that I've learned through you guys and the non-negotiables. And and they might seem like trivial things to, I think, a member that comes in, but I've done a lot of box hopping, and not box hopping is the wrong word, but when I go visit my parents in Canada, for example, I make an effort to go to different gyms every single time I'm there. It's always good to see different coaching styles, how gyms are run. And you kind of automatically go like, I don't like this. Like, those small things like that where people are packing away mid-workout, it's like you're missing so much of a small detail that could make your gym so much better, for example. So I know that doesn't really answer your question in terms of what's different. But I will say Landre and I have got quite a good balance between us, between the gyms. Yeah. So Landre is a lot more, everyone that knows Landre is a lot more laid back and chilled. Whereas I am a lot more parat, is maybe the best word to use there. Maybe not. But yeah, I'm a lot more set in my ways and things like that. So certain members thrive on that, certain members don't. So I think that it's a good balance that Landre is there to kind of go, okay, but Mike's on this extreme and I'm on this extreme. So it kind of gives members that balance day to day. So even though they might only come to 5 p.m., so they get me one day, him the next day, it's not necessarily just one coach having that coaching style, etc. So
yeah, 100%. I think your coaching style is different in the fact that you're quite a regimented person. So when you run a class, it's very regimented. Everyone knows where they are, what they're doing, how they need to do it, having seen you coach compared to everyone else, where a lot of the other coaches you'll pick up will be a little bit more relaxed, kind of, they'll step in and do correct members if they're doing something incorrect. Obviously, we make a goal of trying to help everyone. But what I mean is, when the warm-up starts in your class. You know what I mean? Everyone is doing the same thing. Everyone's working. Whereas you see other coaches coach and, they start the warm-up, they're watching, they have an eye out, but they might be having a chat with this person a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more regimented, which is a good thing. People need that. Yeah. People need that. And like you say, there's a good balance between you and Landre, which is awesome. Well, I'm glad I made it out to Norwood, eventually, to do that. Thanks, guys, for watching the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe so you can be notified of any new videos that pop up on our channel.